Last Friday at our devotion, I shared a few thoughts from those famous verses in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, which is all about love. And this morning I want to focus on one of the sentences in that chapter, and it's simply this: love is kind. Love is kind. And I want to share a little story that will just help illustrate why I believe love is kind. About 3 weeks after my mum passed away, there was a knock on my dad's door, and two neighbours from the village of Dickleborough had walked round to his house, about a mile's walk. My dad knew the husband reasonably well, but he'd hardly ever spoken to the wife, and they stood there at my dad's front door and they'd cooked him a meal. And they said, Vic, we just want to say how sorry we are about the loss of your wife, but we thought you might appreciate a meal. The short story is that pretty much every 3 weeks for 2.5 years, this couple has brought a meal round to my dad. And they have consistently watched out for him. They've consistently looked after him and looked out for him. And I have watched and observed the impact that that act of kindness has made on my dad over the last 2.5 years. Here are some of the things that I've observed when I've talked to my dad, or I've watched my dad react to this consistent act of kindness that Alan and Shirley Connolly have given to my dad for this last 2.5 years. My dad's life has been enriched and made better because of it. Every 3 weeks, she's a great cook and she brings a really lovely meal round to my dad's home, and he enjoys it. And his life has been really enriched and his life has been made better because of that act of kindness. The second thing that I've observed is that my dad often mentions it, and he often talks about it with real affection. He often says, he said, last week Alan and Shirley brought me another meal round, and it brings a real smile to his face, and he talks about it with deep affection and with real sense of, it's just lovely to hear him talk about that little occasion every 3 weeks when they drop round. So it's made his life better, and it's made his life more enriched, and he often talks about it with real affection. The third thing that I've observed is this: that it's created a really strong neighbourly connection between my dad and this couple. Because they don't just drop a meal round every 3 weeks now. He's got to know them. He has a conversation with them. It's created a real sense of community between them. And the connection has been reciprocated because I think it was sometime earlier this year, the linen line in their garden snapped or blew over in this other couple's, and they came round, and Alan said to my dad, he said, Vic, you haven't got like a steel pole or something that could be used as a linen line in my garden? And my dad said, well, funnily enough, you should say that. He said, I've got just the thing in one of my sheds. And so my dad cut it all to size, and he went round with this large linen pole, and he fixed it and he put it in their garden. And so out of that one act of kindness, just 3 weeks after my mum passed away, it's not only enriched and made my dad's life better. My dad doesn't just talk about that constantly with real warmth and affection, but it has created a real strong neighbourly relationship and connection between my dad and this couple. I don't know if you've ever been on the receiving end of a beautiful act of kindness, how it's made you feel. Maybe you can resonate with some of the things that I've said this morning, that it enriches your life, it makes you feel good. You will talk about it with real affection, maybe when you've got friends around or members of your family around, and you'll talk about that act of kindness that someone showed you, and maybe through an act of kindness shown to you, you've developed a friendship or a relationship or a really good connection, maybe with a colleague or with a neighbour. There is something, isn't there, about love is kind. There's something about kindness that does so much. You see, I believe that kindness is much more than just the initial act. I think kindness creates much more than that. It opens up a door for relationship. It opens up a door for connection. It actually opens up a door for the gospel to be shared at some point. And Philippa talked about that a little bit yesterday in yesterday morning's devotion, that those acts of kindness open up so much more than just the act. And Paul writes to that Corinthian church, and when he talks about love, he says love is kind. Love is kind. Paul also writes these words in Colossians chapter 3 verse 2. He says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with kindness. What a beautiful way of describing the act of kindness, to clothe yourself. The Greek word for that word clothe is the word enduo, which is where we get our word endue. And when you endue something, you provide something. You know, you can be endued with life. You're provided with life, and it makes something better. It brings a quality. And Paul says, clothe yourself, endue yourself, put the quality of this on you. Immerse yourself, wrap this around yourself, endue yourself, clothe yourself with kindness. And there's a lovely little fable, one of Aesop's fables, that says this: no act of kindness, however small, is wasted. No act of kindness, however small, is wasted. And I have been the recipient of many acts of kindness in my life, and it has made my life better. It's enriched me. It's something that I will talk about. I say, did you know I received this? Or I got this lovely email, or I got this card dropped through my door, or somebody made me something. And I like to think that I've been the giver over my life of many acts of kindness. And I believe it's a Christ-like quality. And I want to leave us with that thought this morning. Love is kind. Clothe yourself with kindness. How can we be kind today? Can we be really kind with the way we talk? Can we be really kind with our actions? With a smile, maybe a card, an email, a message or a text? How can we show love by being kind? How can we clothe ourselves with kindness? And as we are kind, let's believe that we will make or enrich somebody else's life. Maybe we will cause a conversation in someone's home or someone's life today with another person because of our kindness. And maybe, just maybe, kindness will open a door for us today to share the gospel. It will open a door of building a relationship and creating a stronger sense of community and connection with someone today. So let's be kind, because love is kind. 1 Corinthians 13. Have a great day, and we'll connect with you on Sunday. God bless you.